We all know good nutrition is important during pregnancy. The choices a mom-to-be makes during those 9 months can significantly impact her health and, of course, the health of the child. But those good choices should be made all the time by not only mom, but dad and the rest of the family. Well, our next guest is a best-selling author of several books, including Superfoods RX, 14 Foods That Will Change Your Life. And Dr. Stephen Pratt is also a dad of 7. Talk about a super family.
I've been busy.
Yeah, you are busy. So you're saying that superfoods will make a super family.
Absolutely. So again, you got to put good fuel in the tank if you want to have a healthy, long life. And superfoods are certainly the way to go. You can start the day with a Superfoods Super Baby Smoothie, which has wild blueberries. It has soy milk, green tea, yogurt, honey, ground flaxseed meal. But the wild blueberries actually are so convenient because they're frozen. It freezes in the antioxidants, double the antioxidants of a fresh blueberry, more fiber, freezes in the taste, so to speak. So again, it's a great way to start off the morning.
Are blueberries one of the 14 superfoods?
One of the original 14 superfoods back in 2004, yes.
Give us some other examples.
Well, we've got wild Alaska salmon. So wild Alaska salmon is also original superfood because it's got 12 to 14 nutrients, which are good for baby, mom, fertility, breastfeeding. The brain, the heart, the eye really demand a lot of omega-3 fatty acids from wild Alaska salmon. So that's another superfood. And we have over here wild Alaska halibut, which is a sidekick to the salmon. You have mangoes, you have orange bell peppers, you have green leafy salad like spinach and romaine lettuce. The green leafies help to detoxify environmental toxins in our body. So that's something else to do. And it's also it's important to remember that Alaska seafood, like salmon or halibut, are sustainable, natural, wild, and there's plenty of them around and available for us to eat.
Superfoods can really help anyone, can't they?
They certainly can. They're tasty, they're delicious, they're readily available. And it's interesting to note that the wild blueberries actually help escort the omega-3 fatty acids from wild Alaska salmon into the cell wall where the brain, the heart, the eye, everything develops better because of that.
What are some problems you might see if you're not eating these healthy foods on a consistent basis?
Well, you're going to have adverse pregnancy outcomes. You're going to have trouble with your weight. You're going to have trouble controlling your blood sugar, your blood pressure. All these things have unhealthy aspects for the baby.
It's not just eating healthy food and exercising to have total health. There's so much more to it, isn't there?
Well, that's right. We talk about sleep. We talk about weight control. We talk about controlling your blood sugar. We talk about stress reduction in superfoods for healthy babies. So we have all these things which the synergy of all these different things together is what keeps mom, dad, and baby healthy. So it all starts with preconception, actually, and goes right on through pregnancy, delivery. Breastfeeding is very, very important. So breastfed kids have less asthma, they have less allergies, they have higher IQ, they have less trouble with their weight as they get older, and all these things are problems which face all of us if we don't do those things.
All right, Dr. Stephen Pratt, thank you so much. The superfoods for super pregnancy, and if you'd like to read more about these superfoods and their impact on your health, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab.
Well, Lisa, a lot of delicious foods to keep the whole family healthy, but there are other things you might want to try to avoid, especially if you're carrying a child. A new study warns of the danger everyday chemicals can have on a child. And did you know there are about 700 new chemicals introduced in the U.S. every year? And joining us today to tell us more is Dr. Daniel Eisman, Chief Medical Officer and OBGYN with 3 lower counties. So Dr. Eisman, first thing, 700 new chemicals every year, and this study really urges the government to take a closer look at them.
It does. They unfortunately are not doing due diligence in terms of evaluating the 700 chemicals that come on a year to join the 40 or 60,000 that are already there that have not been evaluated as either. So this is encouraging not only consumers but also the physicians and the providers to urge the government to do more testing prior to hitting the market.
We often hear about BPA, but what other chemicals are raising eyebrows?
Well, there are a number of things. The volatile organic compounds. There are other things that we think I've known about for some time, mercury and lead and some of the other things that you see in a day-to-day. The old DDT is no longer about, but pesticides and those kinds of things also are
multitudes of things.
Right.
And what type of health problems can these chemicals ultimately cause?
Ultimately, infertility issues, miscarriages, long-term development a number of decades down the road can probably contribute to cancer, either mammary cancer or prostate cancer, that sort of thing.
What about things like nail polish and cleaning and beauty products?
Well, that's something that's always of a concern, and frequently we get asked about it, particularly by our pregnant ladies who work in salons and all. The volatile chemicals obviously have a smell. The occasional use of it has not been shown to be detrimental, nor the use of hair color products. That's another question we very frequently get. If someone works in a salon where the vapors are of such an issue that it leads to chronic headaches and problems like that, we encourage them to have a better ventilation system, and or if that doesn't work, then to potentially get out of the field for a short period of time while they're pregnant.
You know, one thing that pregnant women often worry about is coloring their hair. It's a concern you see that women have. What advice would you give to them? I mean, can you color your hair while you're pregnant, or should you stay away from it?
Actually, it may not take as well, but from a detrimental standpoint, as far as the chemicals go, there's not been any bad effects shown from the coloring of the hair. That's a question we get virtually every pregnancy.
Does it matter what trimester you're in?
Ideally, they always say wait until the second trimester if you can. I don't know that there have ever been any studies that indicate there's a problem with first trimester hair coloring.
Now, we also mentioned BPA earlier, and that's been proven to really cause some problems.
Right.
Such as what?
Well, such as infertility problems, again, and miscarriages, and issues with development of cognitive effects in children.
Now, we mentioned that. What kind of products contain BPA?
Mostly bimetal cans that have the slick lining in it to keep the metals from leaching into the food product would be the main thing where you would find it now. Previously, baby bottles, sippy cups had BPA in them. That's been removed by the manufacturers at this stage, rather than being mandated by the FDA. Has been removed by the actual people producing it. Camel Foods currently has BPA in some of their cans. They are voluntarily removing that. There's not a date at this point in time where they'll be completed, but they're automatically removing that because of the potential concerns.
Now, we mentioned all of these chemicals, but there's some other things that are basically concerning that women are doing while they're pregnant, such as smoking, drinking, and doing drugs.
Yes, amazingly enough, I think probably on the Eastern Shore, you would have to estimate probably somewhere between 20 and 30% of the pregnant women continue to smoke, continue to drink alcohol, and or do illicit drugs, cocaine, heroin, crack cocaine, cannabis, which we always discourage and try to at least have them cut down, if not eliminate, ideally eliminate.
That is alarming. Now, we should mention we're talking about pregnant women, but everything we're talking about applies to everyone. What can anybody do to stay healthy?
Well, particularly with concerns of like BPA, you can buy whole foods, organic foods. You can buy frozen foods for preparation, which avoids the exposure to the BPA. You can also avoid changing the cat litter. That's more of a infectious process than anything, but we always recommend that women during their pregnancy avoid changing the cat litter to potentially avoid toxoplasmosis. And read the labels as you go into the grocery store and see.
And obviously it goes without saying, no smoking or drinking.
Exactly.
All right, so a lot of stuff people need to pay attention to. Dr. Eisman, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, very good. And if you would like to read more about this study, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab. Well, another part of staying healthy is making sure the food you eat is not loaded with fat and calories. A little later, we're in the kitchen with some simple snacking that won't bust your belt. And we have the food covered. What about the drink? Sometimes a nice glass of wine is just what you need. We're going to tell you how you can sample the wine from the many fine wineries here on Delmarva. It's all part of the Autumn Wine Festival. We'll get a preview and even stomp grapes to get things started. But next, we've been talking about fall. That means winter will soon follow. Is your car ready for the cold? We'll learn simple steps you can take to make sure that it is. But first, we just learned about what to eat and what to avoid during pregnancy. Dr. Oz helps us make sure it's a stress-free 9 months.
Are you or someone you know pregnant? On this amazing 9-month journey, you need to manage stress. Otherwise, you can damage your body and the growing baby in profound ways. First, conquer anxiety with knowledge. Choose an OBGYN or midwife who shares your value on childbirth, someone who supports you and you can trust. Because of hormones, mood swings are normal, but seek professional help if you experience serious sadness. It could signal clinical depression. Exercise is a great stress buster. Check with your doctor first and develop a routine. You may have food cravings, but going to the store for food and drink is not exercise. And walk for 30 minutes every day that I always tell you will keep you healthy. It's the way for you and the baby to stay well.